If you are frustrated with troublesome elbow pain, then these 3 exercises will help you fully recover. Hi, my name is Tommy. I'm the owner of the Pain and Performance Clinic based in Dublin, Ireland. And this video is for people who are frustrated with elbow pain and they want to get it sorted and get back doing the things they enjoy, whether that's being able to live pain-free and shake hands with people, lift objects, or train hard in the gym. Now, we're going to very quickly get into these 3 exercises. After that, I'm going to talk about 2 barriers to people recovering with these. So it's not just about the exercises. There's 2 other factors. The fear that people have in relation to doing an exercise and feeling pain and discomfort and thinking, oh no, I shouldn't do this. This is bad. It's not for me. I need to stop. I'm doing some damage. That fear is crippling and it's something you have to overcome. The other one then is the dosage needed of these exercises to get better. So we'll talk about those at the end. I'm going to start with exercise number 1. The first one here, let's start with a 2.5 kg. Just rest your elbow on a bench or on a table or something like that so your shoulder is nice and relaxed here. You have an inch or 2 space so you can get full range, starting with flexion here. And you're just slow and steady lifting this up and down. Now start with 2.5 kg. Even if you think you can do more, start with 2.5 kg. The purpose of this exercise is that you feel this area here working. So this is where I want you to feel it working, not down around the wrist or up in the shoulder. And if you go heavier early on, that's where you can get it and it can be off-putting and it's not doing its job exactly. So start lighter than you might think. It does mean you're going to have to do a lot more reps than you might expect, but that's just part of it, okay? So have it at this sort of tempo, 2 seconds up, all the way up, hold it for a second, 2 seconds down, getting full range, and this isn't lifted. Now, you keep going to the point where you feel you absolutely cannot do any more, and then you still do a few more reps. This is not going to get better by you doing 10 or 15 reps of these exercises. Now, it might be 10 or 15, depending on your starting point, but you have to go till you really fatigue the forearm. This is exercise number 1, nice and simple, just do it like this. Exercise number 2, you might start off with 2.5 kg or a lightweight like that, or sometimes you can go a little bit heavier. I'll let you decide whether you want to go with a 2.5 kg or a 5 kg. But again, it doesn't need to be that heavy starting off. So in this position here, you're just in full extension like this, and you just curl it all the way up. It's the exact same sort of tempo and method, you're just doing the opposite side. So these work the muscles that come up and attach onto the tendons here on the outside of your forearms. And whether you've got pain on the inside or the outside of your elbow, it doesn't really matter because you need to do all of these 3 exercises for both of them anyway, okay? So again, curling it all the way up and all the way down. And you're going to absolute fatigue with this. When you think you can't do any more, keep going and then go to the point where you feel, I really can't do any, I can barely grip it. Now, after you do that, you're probably going to have to stretch it out and loosen it out a bit and take a little bit of a break with that. That's absolutely fine, do that. And when you're doing this as well, you might feel pain in the area and maybe that, but if you're doing these exercises, you have pain there anyway, but don't expect it to be gone straight away. Obviously, your pain might increase a little bit when you're doing these exercises for the first time or the first set when you're doing them. Don't worry about any of that. Just make sure that when you're doing both of those exercises, you feel it in these areas here and that you go to absolute fatigue. I can't stress that enough. The third exercise that you need to do to help this is this one here. All you're doing is you can stand or go in a kneeling position, but you have your elbow tucked in this position. Okay? And all you're doing is going as far as you can in both directions. So keep your elbow tucked into your side here, nice and upright, and you just slowly go over and back as far as you can. Now, you probably do need to go a little bit heavier with this particular exercise. And like the others, you go to fatigue. You don't need to take much rest. What I would do in these situations is I wouldn't take much rest in between any of the exercises, maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds at most. And you really do need to keep going till you can't do any more. So again, this is with a 5 kg, but you might go a little bit heavier with this third exercise in the set. So there's your 3 exercises. They work the muscles that come up here and attach into these painful sore areas. It's generally tendon issues and tendon pain that lingers for a long time and really disables people to where they can't grip, shake hands, carry anything. And people then generally associate that because I feel my pain in everyday activities, it's really bad, I better stop, I'm doing damage to it, so they do less. And then by doing less and less, they feel their pain more and more in their life. That can get quite difficult for people because it looks like there's no hope. What happens is they stop doing the activities that they felt were aggravating it. And then what happens is they're able for less and less. So not only can they not do that, but they now start to feel it more in their lives. The other thing that can be quite disabling for people is that they go to a lot of health professionals and they get different sorts of treatment that don't work for this. This is a tendon issue and it needs to be loaded. A lot of people just get rubs or a few very low level exercises or get needles put in or just shockwave. And while some of those can be an adjunct to treatment, so maybe a little add-on, they are in no way getting it sorted. This is the absolute bread and butter that you need to do. And any of those sort of like other treatments, you know, if you like them, they might have a tiny place in it. But a lot of people do that, they go to specialists, they get scanned, and most people just stop and do less and less. This needs the exact opposite. The last thing I want to talk about here is how much you need to do. To be honest, if this is the first time you're doing it and you're skipping stage 1 exercises, maybe you'd go with 3 sets. And just reassure yourself, like at the end of your 3rd set, most likely you certainly feel no worse than you did at the start. Or oftentimes you can find that when you do it, actually my elbow feels a little bit better afterwards. When I see people here in the clinic, a lot of the time it's to reassure them initially that they are safe and it's okay to do these exercises and to get going with it. And once you experience that a few times yourself and you feel at the end of it, I've worked this area really hard and I actually have less pain, then once they experience that, it sort of reassures them again. But when it comes down to it, you might have to do, say your typical dosage that you're told to do is 3 sets of 15. Like I said, it's not 15, you go till you cannot do any more, and I would probably try and do as many sets as possible. So going to the point where there's almost no point in you doing anymore. It might be 4, 5, 6 sets, depending on what you're able for. But as you get more conditioned and you're able for more, it's not that you need loads of fancy new exercises. You need to do more and more sets of these. And I would go with more sets rather than trying to up the weight. The other thing I would do is I would certainly start your session or do this early in your day so that you feel a little bit better and less pain in your life or in your session. In the next 3rd and final video on elbow treatment and pain and rehab, I'm going to be talking more about incorporating this back into your gym training. But as a basic, if I had 3 exercises to do, these would be the 3 that will get rid of it. Again, to summarize, what stops a lot of people is the fear that because they feel pain, they're doing damage. You're not. And the second thing is most people don't do remotely enough dosage. You can do 3, 4, 5 sets, 6 sets. You can do it most days, every day. See what works for you. And as time goes on, you should feel less and less pain here and then be able for more things in your life. If you have any particular questions on this, feel free to message us, contact us on the details below, through the website, comment below the video, and we'll be glad to help. Thanks.